Wood cracked and splintered as the deadly edge of a battle axe breached the portal.
What did you say, Your Grace? That they wouldn't make it to us?
Shut up. We're fine.
A chunk of wood fell. We were not fine. Victor looked over his shoulder at me. Our eyes met. I turned, planting my foot on the seat of an empty chair. I gathered up my skirt.
Now, this is getting interesting.
My gaze met the Lord as I unsheathed the dagger, wishing I could shove it through his heart. He must have seen that in my stare, because his nostrils flared.
Penelope! What are you doing with a dagger? And under your skirt, no less. This whole time?
I'm sorry.
What are you doing with a dagger, Penelope?
Doing my best not to die. Her mouth dropped open. Knowing I would hear about this later, if there was a later, I turned back to the door. The hall had quieted. Nothing moved beyond the gash in the wood. One of the royal guards crept forward and bent down to peer out. His head tilted to the side.
Shit! Get back!
I jumped, as did Victor, but two of the guards weren't fast enough. The door blew off its hinges and smacked into them, taking one of them down while the other was caught in the chest by the battering ram. I heard a sickening crunch. Victor swung his sword, cutting through bone and tissue. The battering ram hit the ground, along with an arm. The man screamed, stumbling back as blood pumped from the severed limb. He fell to the side, and then they swarmed, swallowing Victor and the guards. There was no time to give in to panic or fear, as one of the dissenters stalked forward, flipping the battle axe in his hand. I had no idea if they were here for me, or just to shed blood. But with the mask and how I was dressed, they had no idea that I was the Maiden. The man behind the wolf mask chuckled.
Pretty dagger.
They had no idea I knew how to use it. He raised the battle axe. And I thought the Duchess screamed. Maybe it was Tawny. I wasn't sure, but the sounds they made faded into the background as I let instinct take over. Waiting until the axe blade whistled through the air, I then shot forward. Darting under his arm, I spun behind him just as he turned, slamming the dagger into the back of his neck. He was dead before he even realized that I'd killed him. I saw the Duchess staring back at me, her mouth hanging open.
Behind you!
Whirling around, I hit the ground as another axe swept through the air. I kicked out, sweeping the man's leg out from under him. He went down just as Victor turned, his sword arcing through the air as he brought it down. I popped to my feet as a dissenter moved to shove a dagger into Victor's back.
Victor!
Victor threw out his elbow, catching the man under his chin, snapping his neck back. A dissenter rushed me, axe swinging. I darted to the left just as something... A glass smacked into the dissenter's metal mask. I glanced over my shoulder to see Tawny sans glass, but she wasn't empty-handed for long. She grabbed the decanter, holding it like a sword. I shot forward, thrusting the dagger deep into the dissenter's chest.